Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking you with us to what I think is one of the most beautiful cities on the West Coast, San Diego. Whether you're here for the beaches, the food, the history, or that renowned Southern California vibe, there's something in this city for just about everyone. So kick back, relax, and let's dive into the best of what San Diego has to offer. In San Diego, enjoying the Pacific Ocean.
I feel like it's gonna be very warm.
It does not feel like it's going to be warm. Woo! Out in this cold water, but it is beautiful. First up, Mission and Pacific Beach, which if you have been to San Diego, you are probably familiar with each of those beaches. They're kind of connected by a boardwalk. Mission Beach is south of Pacific Beach, and it was built on a sandbar between the Pacific Ocean as well as this bay, Mission Bay to be specific. Mission Beach also encompasses Balboa Park, which is an amusement park. Pacific Beach is a little more lively from the standpoint of nightlife. It kind of has a college party vibe to it. Mission Beach is also lively, but in a different way because you have the amusement park that's right there, boardwalk and all that. So there's a lot of families and kids. And parking was a nightmare.
We tried to park at Pacific Beach and drove a few streets and couldn't find anything. So then we kept driving and ended up at Mission Beach.
Yeah.
And we found a parking lot.
Yeah,
it was a very large parking lot.
Yeah,
free
it was
parking.
huge.
We ended up getting a great spot, but it was a little stressful before we got there.
The boardwalk was really nice. We walked along the beach was on one side and there were homes and some shops and stuff like that on the other side.
Since we're from the East Coast, it's not the same type of boardwalk that I'm used to from the Jersey area. It's not elevated, overlooking the water.
Right.
It's a concrete walkway, but still served its purpose.
We also went to Sunset Cliffs, which is beautiful. It's a natural park, and the name kind of says it all. These dramatic cliffs.
We were not there at sunset.
We weren't. We didn't go for sunset, but I'm sure it's even more beautiful at sunset as it was during the time that we were there. It's a 68-acre hillside park comprised of sandstone cliffs that stretch all along the area, which is called Point Loma Peninsula. Just gorgeous panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean. The neighborhood is almost entirely residential. I'm sure the folks that live there love that because, again, the cliffs are right there, the water's right there. It would be a beautiful place to live.
Speaking of the neighborhood, we had a really cute Airbnb while we were in San Diego.
Yes.
That was actually built into a cliff. So the parking was like this. There was a lot of turning the tires and emergency brake for parking. The place was really small, but it was all we needed.
We also visited Cabrillo, which is a U.S. national monument. It's at the southern tip of Point Loma Peninsula, which is around that same area as Sunset Cliffs. It commemorates the landing of Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo at San Diego Bay in September 1542. Once again, because it is a national monument, as we've talked about before, and it falls under the national park system. If you have some sort of national park pass, you can use it to get into this place. If you do not, it's $10 per person. It's worth it. The panoramic views of San Diego are incredibly beautiful. On a drive up to the monument, you pass through Fort Rosecrans Cemetery, which is a humbling experience. It's a beautiful cemetery. It's somewhat like a mini Arlington cemetery. Visitor center, once you get up there, is also pretty nice.
So while we were in San Diego, it was my birthday. So Kevin got us reservations for an afternoon tea, and we went to the Grand Tea Room. It's located in downtown Escondido, and it's about 30 minutes from where we were staying in San Diego. It was a really good time. The place was cute. The hosts and the servers were all really nice. The tea was great. The food was good. We had a really nice time. It was a good birthday experience.
And for the record, I didn't just say, oh, hey, we're going to do an afternoon tea for your birthday. It was something that Felicia had wanted to do for a while, and we hadn't done it. Neither of us had ever done a tea like that. So I knew it was something that she has some interest in. So as it turned out, it was really nice. It was definitely enjoyable. One of the other days while we were in San Diego, we also went to Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial and La Jolla. The mountaintop is the site of the Mount Soledad Cross. It has nearly 6,000 plaques that honor service members. Much like Cabrillo, the views there are also panoramic and absolutely beautiful. Mount Soledad is also where the Theodore Geisel house is. You may know him as Dr. Seuss. He and his wife bought the home back in 1948, and after his death in 1991, his second wife continued living there until she died in 2018. The house is still there. We actually didn't go past the house, but it too is on Mount Soledad.
So where we were staying in San Diego was somewhat near Balboa Park. I think it was about a mile from our accommodation to the park entrance. So we were feeling really gung-ho one day, and we were like, let's go for a walk.
We made it to Balboa Park. Just kind of got into the park a few minutes ago and making our way through. This place is pretty massive.
It was a nice day, but because the park is huge, we had
1,200
to,
acres to be exact.
we had to walk through the park quite a distance to get to the main attractions. So when you added in the fact that we had at least 2 miles round trip just to get to the park, and then
had to walk through a portion of the park to get to the main area of the park itself. So it was a lot of walking that day, but
it was a big day.
Yeah.
But it was it's a really nice park.
Yeah,
I
really is. Yeah.
I didn't regret doing it. It was just we were tired and a little warm after all that, but good exercise.
I don't need to go in that either, but definitely want to get the sign.
Yeah, to give you an idea of just how massive this place is, it houses 18 museums. They have various gardens, arts and international culture associations, musical theaters, a sports complex. It's just massive. They have the San Diego Air and Space Museum, Oregon Pavilion, where they have free concerts. You need at least a full day at this place, probably more than that, because even though we saw the bulk of it, there were still some things that we didn't do and see because it's just so massive. But highly recommend, because again, there's so much to do, so much to see. It's a beautiful park and space.
And they had this whole section of little houses that represented each country. So you could go to India, you could go to Germany, you could go to Palestine. They don't have every country there.
Right.
There weren't that many. It was nice. They were in little cul-de-sac types just for walking in sections of maybe 5 that were around each other, so you could do a little loop and then you walk to a different section and there were 5 different ones. And you go inside and they have cultural representation, be it arts, foods, textiles, pottery, a little immersive experience into different cultures while you're in the park.
And they do have trams that go through that are they're dedicated just for Balboa Park. You can just jump on and off. We didn't do that. In retrospect, maybe we should have.
Well, unfortunately, the tram didn't run where we needed to get to because it didn't go to the top, the northern part of the park where we walked in. It's really, the tram operates around all those attractions, the zoos and the museums, which makes sense. That's where the bulk of the people are. But if you're walking in from the northern section, there wasn't a place to catch the tram.
I think our favorite museum there was called the Museum of Us. It's a museum of anthropology. It was sobering, but really nice all at the same time. And if you're in San Diego, I think it's kind of a must to go through the Gaslamp District there. I remember when I was in San Diego years back, really, really loving the Gaslamp District, but I think being older now, it doesn't have the same vibe as it did to me back then, but still nice area. They have retail stores, they have restaurants, and they have nightclubs and stuff like that. We were there during the day, so lots of different things happening around there. And it's also not too far from the Seaport Village. We drove through. That's a waterfront shopping and dining complex. It's adjacent to the San Diego Bay in downtown San Diego. They have a bunch of shops and galleries and plenty to do there. It kind of sits between the USS Midway aircraft carrier and the San Diego Convention Center. And San Diego Convention Center hosts the Comic-Con, for those of you who are familiar with that. And if you're wondering, yes, we did find a couple of really good bookstores there.
Everyone was holding their breath,
Yes.
waiting for us to get to bookstores.
Yes, absolutely, I'm sure. But the two bookstores that we really enjoyed there was one was called Libelula. Verbatim Books is the other one, so they were both really good bookstores.
Yeah, the first one, Libelula, was small, woman-owned. A lot of the books there were
Geared toward marginalized groups, I would say.
right. And Verbatim Books was much larger, and they had more of a combo, new books, old book. The cool thing about Verbatim Books was the exterior. The walls of the outside were painted with book spines and different characters. It was just a draw to see the artwork on the outside.
Yeah. And then our favorite restaurant, in fact, we ate there twice, is a place called Peace Pie.
Their food was vegan. All their food was gluten-free. They had a lot of raw options. They had a ton of desserts that were really, really good.
Really good.
Yeah, their food was exceptional. And the really good part about Peace Pies was the location was really close to Dog Beach.
Yes.
Which we went twice, but the first time we messed up and we thought we were at Dog Beach, but we were actually at North Beach. The second time we went, we walked in a different direction and there were dogs everywhere. It was heavenly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we talked about it before, but we're big time animal lovers. And technical name is Ocean Beach, but it's called Dog Beach. Dogs are just all over the place. They're in the water, they're on the beach itself. And so we walked pretty much the length of it.
Right.
That was, I think, our favorite place there.
Plenty of parking. If you want to hang out with the dogs, there's room. But if you don't, you just want a little bit of dogs, you can go around the corner. And
Right.
it's a really good section. Like if we ever go back, of the few beaches that we visited, that one was tops for me.
Yeah. And if anyone's thinking, there's not poop all over the place either.
Right.
So yeah, you might think there would be, but there is, for the most part, it's really clean beach and they do a good job. So that's the time we spent in and around the San Diego area. In our next video, we'll be talking about some of the places we went from San Diego. So we will see you the next time, and thank you for joining us.
Bye.